Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back to the um, sixth episode series of the Asynchronous Apex. Today we are going to look into the use of batch Apex, which is chapter 3 of this Asynchronous Apex. Previously we learned about you use feature methods. You can check out the video um, in this playlist. So now coming to use of batch Apex. Um, Batch Apex is a synchronous part of asynchronous Apex. Batch is different from future because in future you said there's a limitation that you cannot process, cannot pass as object types, and you know you have to there's a limit on processing a particular set of records, because it will hamper your batch execution, sorry, not execution, your job execution, asynchronous job execution in Apex. So to overcome that, or this set of to execute this set of category, right, process a large number of records into Salesforce, you will use batch Apex. Okay, batch Apex are simply a class which will implement an interface. As you know, interface, go back to your oops concept. Interface are basically are the predefined class which have predefined methods, which when the other class implemented, you have to define those methods in your class. So it's the main it's a core concept behind batch Apex as well. So why batch classes? As you batch Apex, it's basically run large large jobs, like millions records. So how much is the millions? It is 50 million of set of records. Then you so always say you want to process 1 million record using batch Apex. However, execution logic, each record processing, right? Each time you invoke a batch class, the job is placed in Apex job queue and executed as a discrete transaction. So in this way, job so it will not execute 1,000 record or the millions of record in one transaction. So what it will do is it will query all those records, will hold into his pocket, and then it will take out 200 set of default values I'm talking. The 200 is the default size of batches, so it will pick out 200 records, process it, and then execute. Then 200, and then 200, and then 200. Doing this, it will divide it entire 1 million record into this set of batches and then execute. Also the order of execution not known, but this is the queue, the entire queue get executed. Okay, so that is the basic setup of syntax of idea of batch Apex. Okay, talking about some two advantages, they're saying every transaction starts with a new set of governor limits, which is nice, right? If one batch is fails to process successfully, all other successful batch transactions aren't rolled back. So that is obvious, that is the another advantage, because in Apex synchronous transaction, if you are processing one set of record and the entire set fails in the query, your entire transaction is rolled back, right? Here your one batch, okay, fails, then for example 10 batches are there, and so 1,000 record you're working with, and then 200 is the batch size. So 5 is the five the number of batch we have to process. So one batch fails, so the other four will not get disturbed or rolled back. So that is the advantage. Very nice. Moving ahead, the syntax, as it is a batchable is an interface, so we implement the batchable interface, whatever class we name. Then we have start and execute and finish method. Start is basically giving you query locator. It's the main, like, say, the initiator of the batch class. So it will query all your it will query the number of records you wanted to process. Okay, so and it can do the heavy loading of querying your 50 million records. So it can query 50 million records. That's insane amount of record it can query. However, ask yourself, what is the synchronous limit for querying a SQL? Okay, that's a question for you. You can search it. There's also one more return type which is gives, which is iterable. Okay, so say for example, if you want to do something crazy, like look through result of API or preprocessor records. Say for example, before doing the transaction, you wanted to do some work on your data, modify the data, and then pass the data to the execute method to work on. Okay, that is done by the iterable. There another topic to discuss. We'll cover in some other time. So just keep in mind that it doesn't bypass your governor limit. It has also a limitation of 200 records per iterables. So setting the context, start will do the bring the record for you, and then it will give the entire load to execute. So what execute has is execute method will take this batchable context, and it will take the subject iterable as a list of parameter type variables. So whatever it will return by the parameter, it will take it. So default size it for the execute is 200. So 200 record per execute method, it can work, right? Similarly, that 10,000 record, 1,000 records, 200 batch size, 200 is the default. So naturally 5 is the batch size for 5 times the execute method will run. Finish is the nicest guy. So whatever you wanted to have done so far, if you want to track it, okay, now I wanted to send this entire a mail to somebody, okay, my batch is done, okay, we have done the heavy loading time, then your finish method will do the rest thing. So it's a very simple method. You can do mail to anybody, or count, or just print a simple message system dot debug, my work is done. Okay, that's how. So setting that syntax context, then we are talking about invoking a batch class. Invoking a batch class is basically a very simple line you have to do: database.execute batch, and then you have to instantiate your batch class, and then put the instant, and pass as a parameter to database.execute batch. It will give a batch id. It means you can track that batch id, that my batch has been running since long, I wanted to see if it has been done or not. So that kind of work you can do. You can set the parameter, like say 200 is the default. If it doesn't specify any value, it will 200 with the value it will take it automatically. However, you can do 0 to 2000. 2000 is the maximum limit. So 100 is if you specify, so then your batch execute method will process 100 record. Okay, it is also useful because your batch id, because you can track it. As you can see, async job is the job record in which you can track the status with the id. Okay, now talking about state in apex, batch apex. So batch apex is stateless, because every transaction the execute method execute is a discrete. So you don't know what the your neighbor batches has done, right? So one batch, my batch will not know what the other batch has been done, right? To know what's happening, so if I send a message to, like say, have a mediator, okay, to track all those record processing, we can make the database stateful. Okay, stateful means you can have you can instantiate a variable, okay, a public variable, and then you can track the number of process, or count the record you have processed, which will be maintained in the entire batch, right? So that is the to make the batch stateful. So this is a simple example what they are given. They are just basically querying the account. So your use case is they wanted to, okay, capture the mailing and billing address of account and get stamped on all the contacts associated to it. So that is a basic. They're querying the account with billing country is this. Then they, in the execute method, they are passing the scope as a list of account. They are again requerying on those account record, on again looping through the contacts and passing the account billing to contacts billing. Okay, and then they are updating. So this is the work will be done, and then after that they will query the async job, because they have the bc. This is the context of the batch. They will get the id, and then they will do send a message of that this is the record process. However, they have made this batch stateful because they have implemented this method, in which then they have a global variable, which is this, and then they are tracking that, okay, this is the record which was processed. Okay, so and then they are sending it to the message. So that is basically the simple batch looks like. We'll go further. So it's basically discussion of the code. Then testing the batch class, you have to instantiate your batch into test.start and test.stop method, because it will give you the governor limit. And the idea same idea behind however we have done in the future method as well, that it in between these two methods it will take all the batch transactions, batch queues, and after that, after test the stop method, they will execute synchronously. Okay, it is executed synchronously after test.stop. Okay, that's a basic summary of that. Best practices, obviously, as we have seen in the future method as well, these also have batch. So to ensure your batch executes, okay, quickly and fast, minimize web services callout. If you want to do a batch, web service call from the batch, you also have to implement database dot allow callout or something. That is one kind of a interface also you have to implement to make your batch, do a callout, external callout. Then tune your SQL query together quickly. So now simply you can't put like too much of query, too much of simply query, because it will process large of unnecessary data. So you have to apply where clauses, refine it, tune it, and only process those records which is valid records, right, which you want to do, and not unnecessary records, right. Minimize number of asynchronous requests. Okay, obviously, an extreme case is if you're planning to invoke a batch from a trigger. This is not a good practice, but you must guarantee that trigger won't have much batch, because it will obviously block the entire queue and transaction will take more time to execute. Okay, only use batch class if you have more than one batch of records. Say for example, if the default is 200 for processing more than 200 set of records, right, then use batch. Otherwise you can go for queuable apex as well. So we are on so that is basically summary and understanding of how batch class works. Okay, we'll go with the challenge. So the challenge is that create an apex class that implement database batchable, which is bare minimum. Update all lead record with a specific lead source. Okay, so we'll be creating a apex class with this name. This is obviously the bare minimum, implementing this, then using query record to start to collect all the lead records, which is very simple. Execute method will update all the lead records with the lead source value of Dreamforce. Okay, create apex test class. Okay, in this test class insert 200 leads we have to do, and then test that all lead have updated correctly. The test must cover all lines. Okay, where okay, all right. So let's start with this. I will go with my base playground. I will launch it. Let's just copy the name of the class. So we'll be implementing every line, that every syntax of what it's mentioned in the challenge. And okay, so let's open the developer console. Alright, so this is the method that you're seeing is part of the previous challenge, the future methods. So we'll just close it, we don't need them. File, new, class. Okay. So first and the foremost thing is implementing the batchable interface. Let's see if you have some sample data. Sample. Okay. Do you want to make stateful? Let's make it also. Let's make stateful. If it's not mentioned, but then too, we'll just try to look into stuff. Okay, you've done this. Now it will show an error here, because obviously interfaces want to you to have this methods naturally. So first thing is that we'll have what is this? Copy this. Try reusing most of the stuffs. Okay, because if you try on your own, you might have some error. So this is me, like I mostly copy the syntax from the valid source, which is Salesforce documentations. Okay, it is easy for to avoid error, like typo errors there are, right. So the first thing is to have the all the three methods. I will just copy them and have them one below the other. Okay, You are here. Now my favorite finish method. Why my favorite? It's very simple method. It does nothing. Okay, fine. Just let me know when the batch is finished. We'll do the thing. Okay. So the error will go away. Now the first thing is they have asked us to query the lead records. Okay. So oh, okay, we have to do a database or query locator. So see, this is how you get confused sometimes. So what they do, database, return the database or query locator, in which you have to put a okay text. So we'll just copy this and replace this with our code. Select ID will be same. Select ID. We don't want it to have any condition ID from lead. Okay, this is very simple because we want to process update every lead record in the system they have mentioned. Okay, so mhm. So if you go to the challenge, they have said that all lead records should be updated. Okay, so this will give you all lead records. So return, so this database query locator will return from start and it will come here. So naturally it's not a account, it's a lead, since we copied them. Now what we'll do, we'll query for lead. Okay, lead, yeah, L in scope. Scope is nothing but the one which came from the start method, right? Then we wanted to update this L dot source, right? What is the source? The field name lead source. Is it lead source? Lead source. Okay. Is it pick list? Those two they have given us reinforce. Okay, we have to update as well. So what we will do, bulkify our code with lead list. Okay, update lead. Let's go to new list of lead. All right, then we also make it state record process is control C. Will into V is plus equals 1. Okay, it means read record 0 0 plus 1, that will happen. Then we'll add this lead, individual lead into this update lead. My bad. C dot add L. Okay, then do the null check. Finish method would just simply debug record process will be plus So I think we are done. It's very simple. We are just querying. We queried all the leads in the start method. The scope will get all of the lead here, and then we are, say for example, if it is by default 200 and we got 1000 records, this batch will run 5 times. So 5 times, uh, so 200 records will come this. Each lead will be updated with Dreamforce. This process record, which is this the global variable, will be incremented each time, and then okay, each time, and then the other batch it will be having the same. So here it becomes 200, then in the next execute it will be having, it will increase by 201, 202. Okay, so far, because it's a stateful variable, it will stay in the entire batch, right? I think this is done. We have to write the test class as well for this, which is this file new class bare minimum @ is test @ is sorry, test setup. Okay, we'll copy the code from the test setup, because we are inserting a lead, right? So we don't have to actually, okay, we have to, because we have to insert 200 setup records. So bracket close. In the test setup, we will do what we'll do. We will say lead, list of lead, right? And this to insert new list of leads. Ta-da. Okay, now for we'll set one integer I 0. Okay, I less than 200. Okay, then I plus plus. After a very long time, I'm doing a simple for query in Apex. So we have to insert, right? So lead, individual lead instance, lead is equal to new lead. What is the required field of leads? Lead, I think lead last name name is equal to rockstar plus I. Right? Is there any problem? The center and the token 9 number. Missing greater than sign at 7. Okay, sorry. Lead company also I know is a required field. Company is SFDC Rockstar. Okay, lead source is equal to actually because we are to compare, right? We'll just say event. Why is showing the error I is getting this one misleading for this semicolon? This is the problem. I is equal to 0. Okay. Doesn't make any sense. I is less than 200 or something. And I plus plus. So I'm going to do this here. For loop lead this and that. Teacher I want to see. Oh, instantiation was the problem. Instantiation. Okay, alright. Let's move ahead with the test. Simply we'll do this. Okay. We don't want to query everything. We'll just simply copy this method and use some of it. Okay. Our apex class name was this. Simply replace this with this. Ta-da! LP. Okay. Now 200 was the record, right? We'll count 200 where count from lead where lead city lead source sorry lead source was star event. Wait. Very nice. Okay, they've asked us to before verifying challenge run the test class at least once. Okay, and it is success. So yeah, so we see that that our challenge is yeah, so everything is covered, so hence we have completed the challenge. We'll check the challenge. Definitely it's gonna work. Fine. All right, thank you so much guys for staying this long. In the next chapter we will see QAble Apex, which is very interesting, so stay tuned. Thank you.